So what's up everyone, and welcome to another Warframe fashion frame video. So as you may know, the most recent line of Tennogen skins have come out, and just like with the previous sets, there's some really nice skins that have been released in the game. Now there's a couple of notable Sandanas that are now available, as well as skins for frames such as Equinox, as well as Saren, Ash, Nyx, Atlas, and Neza. So if you are interested in fashion frame or in the Tennogen line, then I would suggest that you go to the Steam page for the Tennogen products and just check out the new releases. Now aside from the skins mentioned, the newest release also brought out the most recent set of skins from the Graxx series, and they include the skins for Nova, Hydroid, and Mag. Now being a fan of the Graxx series and having already one of his skins for Volt, I was quite impressed with all three of the skins that came out, and I wasn't sure which one to get, but in the very end I finally decided that since I was partial to the Mag frame and had already three of her previous Tennogen skins, I decided to get the fourth one to complete the series and decided to go after the Mag Graxx skin. So that is what I got, and that is what this video will be about. Now for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Graxx series, this is a series of theme-based skins made by a developer named Faven PS. And for his development, he's done something quite unique amongst all the Tennogen developers in that he's based all of his skins around a single theme. And that theme is the fusion of Tenno style and Grineer style. And for anybody who has played Warframe for a significant amount of time, you would know that the Graxx series is a very popular series amongst many players because you would see many of the Graxx or many of the frames utilizing the Graxx skin during the missions or at the fashion frame relay area. So why do I favor Mag so much? Well, she was my starter frame. And as far as frames go, she's probably one of the least detailed frames available in the game. I don't know if it's because she's one of the early frames that had come out in the game, but I don't mind her style at all. I think she looks pretty nice as a biker gal kind of look or a space gal sort of look. However, there are very few details that you see, and she can kind of look simple if you want to say it in a good way, and boring if you want to say it in a bad way. So yeah, if there was additional capabilities that would improve upon her looks, or at least give her a little bit more detail or a different sort of look, then I thought that it would be really nice to try it out and see how it would work. Okay, so here is the Graxx Mag skin in its default look, and the first impression I got of the skin was, wow, this is pretty nice. And the second one was, is this really a Graxx or a Grineer sort of look? Now I tend to think of the Grineer as having kind of that earth tone modeled look, camouflagey look, and this one was a little bit different. At least that's what I thought in first glance. However, what I realized is I was comparing her to the male Grineer patterns rather than the female. And if you look at the female Grineer patterns, such as those for the Ballista or the Heavy Gunner, then you realize that the patterns that you see in the Mag Graxx skin, it becomes a lot closer to what you see in the Grineers. For the female Grineer armor, the color patterns are a lot more simple, and the basic shape is also relatively smoother than that of the male look. Now I do want to thank Faven PS that he didn't include some of this additional padding that you see in the female armor, nor the unusual leg shape that you see in the female Grineers when he was creating the Mag Graxx skin. I didn't want that sort of style to be included in that, and the overall design of the Mag Graxx skin I think is pretty nice, and it does represent a fusion between what you see in Mag as well as the styles that you see in many of the female Grineer armor. Now one of the most notable parts of the Graxx skin is of course the neuroptic. And Mag's Graxx Neuroptic I think looks pretty nice. This is of course personal bias taste, but for me it looks really good. The overall skin with this design and this helmet makes her look a little bit more like a retro style, slightly steampunk style of kind of a spaceman sort of look. And it all depends upon whether you like that sort of look or not. I do, and I do like those kind of details that Faven PS put on the helmet, such as those 4 kind of nodules or whatever they are at the back of the helmet. They kind of look like the same sort of modules that were in Volt, which I also liked as well. And so yeah, the details are relatively simple, but they do actually work quite well. And it depends on whether you like this overall style or not, but if you do, then this one works very well, and the lines in the design I think enhance the kind of the retro spaceman sort of look. Okay, so with that introduction, I do want to move on to the actual fashion frame sort of look. So here is some of the examples. The first one is a very light blue sort of look. And I really like this style a lot, quite a bit. It is very simple. The Graxx skin is actually a very simple skin compared to even some of the others like the Alata or the Nida skin. It has a very simple kind of body, similar to that of the Orbit skin, but it also has a relatively simple helmet, similar to that of Nida skin, but with a theme of its own, a unique theme of its own. And so yeah, overall I think this look is very nice. Now as you can see, for the color combinations I use mostly whites, bluish grays, and very light blues. And I've also used that for the attachments, although in a different arrangement. I've put on a EOS chest plate, VIA shoulder plates, and Porta leg plates. For Mag, Porta leg plates look quite good, and so for most of these setups I'll probably use that. Now for the Sindana, I decided to go with something very simple and decided to use a phased asset Sindana, which was a Steam event item. And so it's typically not available in the game, but it is still available if you want to trade with players in Steam. And if you do play Warframe on the PC, then you can still get your hands on it. Now as far as the sigil, I decided to take a conclave sigil and do the usual upside down thing. So overall, I really like this. It's a very clean, very pristine sort of look. And I still like the retro style with this. And so yeah, overall, this was one of my favorite color combinations for this particular skin. Okay, so next, with October not too far away, I thought I would take this particular opportunity and make a Halloween sort of theme. So here is a jack-o'-lantern sort of mag using the Graxx mag skin. I think this one looks pretty nice. I think the retro style helmet works well with this color combination, and rather than the edgy red and black that you often see in the game, I thought I would add a lot of bright orange so that it will become a Halloween sort of theme. So here is the color combination for the actual skin itself. And you do see that I do use a lot of red and blacks only, and the orange only comes out in the energy. However, when you look at the attachments, you notice that the primary color for that is very much orange. And for this one, I decided to use a EOS chest plate again, but a Riv Elite shoulder arm because it's a little bit edgier, and I do still stay with the Porta leg plates, although you can use the Riv Elites, I think, and make it look pretty nice. So although the main skin is mostly black and red, the orange, or the high amount of orange from the attachments, help bring out this jack-o'-lantern look. Now with regards to the Sindana, I decided to use a Rapala Sindana here, which is one of the Tennogen items. And I've made again the primary color orange, so this really gives it a very orangish sort of look to the black theme that you see in the main frame skin. And so yeah, I mean, this looks pretty nice, and to finish this in a Halloween sort of theme, I've decided to use the Day of the Dead sigil and make it a glowing red. And so overall, yeah, I think that if you wanted to make a theme-based sort of frame, then well, yeah, this one looks out pretty good. And you can do it to make a nice Halloween outfit for Mag. Okay, so the next example is a very special one for me. Typically, I am not a fan of psychedelic colors or rainbow sort of frames, and I typically don't use that sort of color combination in any of my frames. However, because this Graxx skin has a retro kind of style, I thought it would be interesting to try to make a color combination that would be more thematic to the 70-ish sort of psychedelic colors that you often saw in many of the science fiction stories back then, such as Flash Gordon or Barbarella in Space or something like that, or actually even in the more modern styles such as Fifth Element, or very recently with Valerian in Space. So rather than the dystopian, brutish, dark sort of theme that you see in many of the science fiction now, I wanted to create a color combination which was much more representative of the more optimistic, very colorful, very bright sort of styles that you saw in many of the older sort of science fiction stories. And so you can see the color combination here. I use a lot of bright green, some purples, some blues, and overall I think this looks really nice. I think one of the few key notes is the blue and the contrast light green looks really good on the visor of the neuroptics. And one of the things with regards to this color combination is it shows you one of the unique styles available for this skin only, and that is the two-tone color that you see in Mag's arm. So you see that it is blue in the upper part of the arm, but you see that it's bright green in the forearm area. And this is a style that's actually quite unique to the Graxx skin. You can't even get it in most of the other Tennogen skins. Most of the time you get a single tone color with the modification that you can get in the spiral area, but you don't get a two-tone effect. And for this sort of color combination, that two-tone effect works well because it does give the ability to get a variety of different colors in different parts of the frame. So yeah, I think this one looks really good if you wanted to do a psychedelic sort of theme, because the relative lines and the patterns on the frame are simple, and so they work well with a combination of a variety of different colors. Now, as far as attachments are concerned, I used a Daedalus chest plate and completely Porta leg and shoulder areas. As for the Sandana, I used a simple Yamako Sandana, and I used similar sort of color combinations, except that I used black for the primary color. And as far as the regalia, I kept it relatively simple with Savati Sakaras and the actual wreath sigil, the Christmas wreath sigil upside down. And overall it looks good. I think you could use a variety of any sort of sigils and it would look pretty good for this. Now this one is a very much acquired taste sort of frame color. But for me, I found this to be quite interesting, and I probably will make it a keeper for me, because since I don't use too many frame colors that are this psychedelic, this one will be very unique and fitting for this sort of retro style frame. Okay, so next up we have yet another light colored theme, similar to the very first one, except that instead of a light blue based theme, I'm having a light pink based theme. There are blues included in there, but the overall thematic color is pink, and this is for a much more softer, more feminine sort of look. And yeah, this all depends upon how you want to represent Mag, but I think that with this skin, a very feminine, very pink pastel look actually works quite well with this design. And so I just wanted to show the spotlight and showcase this. You do notice that there are some default black areas in the frame, but they're sparse and well laid out enough that you can still do a very light pink sort of pastel design and still make it look good. Now here I still again use a EOS chest plate. Since this is Mag Prime, I'm using the Mag Prime shoulder armor, and once again for the leg plates again. But of course you could do whatever you want. And I think this one looks pretty nice. I once again used for the Sandana a Rapala Sandana, and in this case instead of the bright orange which I used for the Halloween theme, I've used a very bright blue, and that turns out to contrast the print quite well. And so I find that this turns out to be really a nice design for this sort of Graxx style. And as a final example, here is a much more darker but still colorful version of a Graxx mag style in an aerial format. And so I'm using the Titania stance here, and for the Sandana I'm using something that is a lot more aerial themed, and this one looks pretty nice. This is giving a lot more darker sort of look than some of the others, but it's still colorful enough. And for again this retro style spaceman sort of look, I find that these colorful colors look pretty good. I'm kind of avoiding the white and gold as well as the black and red sort of look because of the fact that they're quite common and most people know how to kind of style for them. So I'm just giving more examples which are a little bit off the standard colors. So this one uses a lot of dark blues, purples, and purplish grays, and even white as the contrasting form. And as you can see, I use a lot of EOS and Porta items and Savati Sakara again, as well as the Prisma sigil for the basic regalia. As for the Sandana, it's the Arcturus Sandana, which is another Tennogen Sandana. It's a very popular Sandana amongst many of the players, and you do often see it in Fashion Frame relays. So I did want to show this sort of aerial styles because of the fact that it's often quite popular to see it in the Tennogen relay. Okay, so those are some examples of various fashion frames using this new Graxx mag skin. And yeah, these aren't really suggestions, but more examples so that you could get some idea of what the Graxx skin may look like using the various attachments and colors in the game. And yeah, I'm very happy overall that Faven PS is continuing to expand the Graxx line. And I could already see that the next set of Graxx styles, for example, those for Atlas and other skins or other frames, are already being developed by this developer. And so yeah, I hope he continues to develop using this theme, especially because of the fact that it's so popular among so many players. And I hope he continues to be successful with the release of future skins. Anyway, that's it for this particular video. I hope you found it to be somewhat useful, and I thank you very much for watching the video. We'll continue on with more Fashion Frame and Warframe videos in general in the future. And until the next Warframe video, we wish you all the best. Happy fashion framing. And until the next time, Jaya, nice day everyone.